Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, let's bring in this dude. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Happy Father's Day to everybody who's out there. I am Dee Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Been making books since 2008. I don't know why. I think I'm more stubborn than anything else, but I'm out here. I'm doing it. I'm not an expert, but I got experience, and I'm sure Calderon has brought on people who have experience as well. Haven't you, buddy?
We got our Coco.
Hello. You're talking experience in what?
Making comics, bud.
Oh, I don't have any of that. No, so hi, I'm Chad from Rolling Squid Bones. I've been making comics since 2016. I started with Blue Lullaby, now I'm on Set the Hook, and now I'm doing my own publishing. So
Nice.
Yeah.
One more year, you'll be 10 years, man. You're there. You're a vet.
Go, buddy. Salute.
Yep.
Salute.
Hell yeah. Hey. Salute.
What's up? I'm Sean Wood. I've been doing it for 2.5 years now. I'm on my 4th issue of The Fog Within, my first series, and I have a 2nd series as well, and I got a 3rd one coming up this year, so just chugging along.
Gone.
What's up, Dan?
Yeah, Dan Sehn, but as you can see on the screen here, I'm going by DJ, using my middle initial to balance out the JDs that are here.
Nice.
Thank God you won't confuse us.
No, DJ, Jazzy Jeff.
There you go.
Yeah, so I got the Global Impact Kickstarter going right now, publishing Argo Comics for a little over 20 years.
Wow.
All right. Cool. We also have Alin. Please introduce yourself.
Alin Silverwood. I've been in comics for quite a while. I started out at Marvel on the editorial staff, and I have been doing for, several years now. I haven't counted the years. I've been doing my own comics and novels and working on copy for Hot Wheels for a long time.
No, cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And we have Martha. How you doing, Martha? Please introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me tonight. I'm Martha. I've been creating comics for about 10 years now, coming up to 10 years. I've got a couple out there, but right now my main one is Aliens West. So I started that a bit ago. So.
All right. So, lady, gentlemen, let's start it off. You've already seen the show question, right?
No.
We'll make plans in Indie Comics, but what happens when they don't work out? And here's the other part of that damn question, because it's too long to fit on this damn header. What is the next step? Give us an example of something you have done or may know of that didn't work, and what was done to counteract it.
That is a hell of a question, dude.
That's a long question.
Yeah.
It really is.
Why don't you have that like running on the toolbar underneath? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that way we forget.
You didn't tell me I was going to have to think.
You know what I'm saying?
It's that kind of show. I mean, Chad's really surprised I invited him.
Oh,
That's
not
when
nice.
when I saw that question, I was like, shit, I'm like 6 beers in today, and you're making me.
Looks like Lorraine has the answer right there. Cry and eat chocolate.
That is, you know what? That was the deal.
That's right. Lorraine's a very smart woman, so
Nothing wrong with that.
Give up, do cocaine.
All right. So Martha, unfortunately, you're in the hot seat. So I always start at that position you're in. That's where I always start. So what are your thoughts?
What was the question again?
I'll read it again.
It's too long.
Unlike Jay, I write them down.
Yeah, I don't.
What would I do if my
Well, we all make plans, right? So what happens when they don't work out? Like we all make plans, right? We all make plans. We're all independent creators, so we've all planned stuff out, and then sometimes the plans just go awry. Things just don't work out, right? So I'm just looking for like something that may have occurred to you that where a plan didn't work out, and then maybe at some point you were able to twist that situation to work in your advantage, or maybe maybe it didn't work in your advantage. Maybe you had to abandon it. maybe you get to adapt it sometime in the future. They're variables. So I'm just interested what your thoughts are and like, what happened to you. Your situation.
Well, most of the time plans, they go with the flow. I guess because I mostly do all of this myself. Like especially when I'm creating the comics, I'm the artist, I'm the writer. A big hassle can be probably with my editor because sometimes they're busy and trying to get in touch with them and stuff like that. And also like, well, I had the Seed Seekers Kickstarter a while back, and that's like pushed me back because I still owe people on that one. It's because I made it. I changed it up. It was a puzzle book, so it's like, well, I never really touched that, so I'm running into some issues of trying to get that figured out and get that finished. So those kind of little things, but nothing really major significant. I always try to go with the flow and try to help always update things and say, hey, this is what's going on, but don't worry, I got it. I'm going to try to follow the plan as best as I can and stuff like that. So
all right.
A lot of times I try.
Fair enough. Sean, you're up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still fairly new to all of it, so I've been planning / lucky for the campaigns in general so far. This is my 5th one, but I did have to switch up where I wanted to do the Kickstarter. So I was going to do the Fog Within 4 earlier this year. It wasn't ready yet, so instead of doing my new thing after the Fog Within, I had to switch that up. That one was going to be done a lot quicker, and I wanted to do the trade, after that, so that I could get that audience. But I mean, it still worked out, so it wasn't anything crazy. But that's really all I've had to do so far. And then you always have a plan. You just got to keep on winging it and see what else you can do. Talk to other indie creators. If you had an issue with in the past, and how they got past it, and try to do the same thing when you have issues. That's all I got on that one.
All right, cool. Mr. DJ.
Yeah, well, one specific thing comes to mind where I had a series that I was going to, I've done a lot of self-publishing, but I was going to go through a publisher and, see how it worked out. They had a number of books they were having in their line. So I went for that. And what happened is they ran into problems. Pretty soon they weren't allowed back on Kickstarter. So that went awry. I brought it to another publisher who was, again, publishing a number of titles, different people. And they kind of gave me the runaround a bit. Like, did you format it how we want? Yes, I formatted it. Are you going to put this out? And they were like, refer to our documents on how we want to format. So it was just like a back and forth thing. And then they stopped publishing. I took the same property to another publisher who had an anthology going in Diamond distribution. And it did run, but it was like chopped up into chapters. So you're saying, what do you do when your plans go awry? I mean, they were all, at least the last one was a good experience because it got exposure for the property. But overall, your plan is always the backup plan to self-publish. So, regardless of what happened to this property, in 3 publishers, I'll do it the correct way through my own imprint, and happy ending.
All right, cool. Alin, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of feel like I come from the what was that quote from Apollo 13? I kind of come from the school of failure is not an option. It's like, for me, I mean, there's a different level of success. It's like, being Alan Moore is not going to happen to me. I got that. That's fine. I'm not Alan Moore. Not many people are like Alan Moore, but you know, it's like I'm going to reach the level of success, that I can live with. I just am. That's just going to happen somehow. I will have to live with where I get, but I mean, I've already got stuff done that I didn't imagine doing. So I'm already, as far as it's working out, it's like, well, I mean, the fact that I've gotten anything done at all is something has worked out. So, I know a little bit of what Sean was saying about like talking to a lot of you other guys. It's like, what do you do with this? How do you deal with this? And just, and it's really, you just keep pounding. I mean, I don't think there's really another option here. There's not some magic bag you're going to find or a particularly special trick. There's different things you can try that will be more helpful than others, but really it's just, you've got to persevere, and that's what you do. You just keep doing that until you cannot do that. And that's it. You just keep doing it. And I'm pushing at stuff. It's a little bit challenging at times. And I mean, I think right now know that things are a little more challenging right now. But I'm still pushing stuff. I've still got stuff I'm throwing out there. I've got some really good stuff happening. It's like I'm just starting to hit like the good stuff, and I'm like I've got to get, I've got to get people's attention. That's the hard part. But you just keep pushing. I mean, that's really the only answer I can come up with, is you just keep doing it.
All right, that's fair. Chad, what are your thoughts?
What I can do if shit goes wrong that doesn't work out?
Well, yeah. I mean, have you ever had a situation where something didn't work out?
Oh God, yeah. Here, let me tell you about the Action Lab story.
Yeah, go for it. Way to hit it. Let's go. Okay.
So basically, it's the DJ's point, because I don't want to get confused and call you JD or anything. But to DJ's point of self-publishing, I was a part of the Action Lab lawsuit where they had our IPs tied up, and they weren't promoting it. They gave me this bullshit digital first. Found out that the contract didn't specify what was like, if it sells enough, then we'll print it. Well, I didn't realize it at the time because I was still new with Blue Lullaby, that it didn't tell me when or what signified as selling well and how much I needed to do. It was an entire disaster. I never got paid. Anytime I reached out to them, it was nothing but silence. So while that IP was tied up with them, I decided to start another IP, which was Lyrical. So I guess my biggest thing that I did was I figured out what I could do while that was tied up at the time, which was start my own series, learn more about the comic book industry, and just do tons of research, start talking to people, and just learn more about what the hell is going on. And what I've slowly learned too is that there's no real right or wrong way to self-publish. Just doing it and seeing whatever works, and that's kind of the fun of it. And then after I finally got that IP back, it got picked up by Marcosia, and that's been great. But then I realized that, man, I could just do all this myself, can I? Yep. So I picked up a bunch of ragtag people. I picked them up. I put them under my IP, my little label, and now I'm just doing it myself. So pretty much what I've been doing is just figuring out what I can do. And now that seems to be working in my favor all the time. Well, not all the time, but that makes me less stressed with everything, especially when this world we call Indy Comics. Also, nobody should be like Alan Moore, like, ever. That man is crazy, and he yells at things, and
he worships the snake god. So
but that's fine. I'm talking about everything else about him.
Gotcha. But good job with the rest of it, though.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Yep. Jay, what do you think?
Like Chad said, right? You either give up or you find out how to turn chicken shit into chicken soup, right? Yeah. It's that simple, man. There's no right or wrong answer to this, except giving up, right? That's the wrong answer. An example, it's pretty well known that I was involved, like Chad, not an Action Lab, but in something called Liberty,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
we all doled out a hell of a lot of money to get a lot of books printed up, and they never saw distribution at all.
Wow.
Okay, so what do? You turn chicken shit into chicken soup. I got all of these books that I'm pretty proud of that I made, right? I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to toss them out, right? We made our money back on them. That's good. That's awesome. We all found a way, by hook or by crook, to get our money back. And we did. But now I still got maybe about 1,300 copies left. So what have I been doing? What have I been doing? Excuse me. Those are promo copies, baby. That's my business card.
Yep. So
Right?
that's fun thing, JD. No, Jay Rosario, not JD. Anyway, I actually started a free comic library where it's at conventions. I just drop anything that's like misprinted or anything that I can't sell. Even Tom Hutchinson has dropped some stuff in there.
Who's that?
He's just some guy. It's fine. Yeah, he's not important. But he dropped some stuff in there too of Big Dog Ink books. So that's what I've been doing too, and it gets people to the table. I'm like, hey, you want some free comics? Like, I can't sell these.
There you go, man.
Randy printed a bunch of with the Liberty stuff too, and he still has books on the table with that little ad in the back.
Man.
And I applaud him on that. Like,
you gotta use it, right? That's one thing I do. Another thing is when I do a panel at a convention, right? I get into the room and I drop one of those copies on every chair. So every time the time comes for me to talk, I'm gonna reference one of the things that you have in your hand, right?
Yeah.
And we build some recognition there. Again, it's just trying to find. Oh, we also use them for sign up for our newsletter. Here you go, free copy, bam, right?
That's great. That's like gold right there.
There you go, man. I mean, we do digital stuff as well. I'm not going to say we don't, but again, you find a way. You find a way, or you give up.
You just don't stop.
There you go.
You're unstoppable. I mean,
Yeah,
even
that's why,
the idea, right?
See, that's the thing. I chose the name Unstoppable Comics not because I'm some great big engine of destruction. No, I'm the little train, going up the hill. I think I can, right? And we're going to hit those bumps. We're going to hit those brick walls, and we're going to find a way to get through that.
If you can hit a brick wall going up a hill, I'm very impressed.
I didn't go through it. I said, we got to, we get through it. But no, that's why I chose the name, right? Because you got to figure it out. I love this stuff. I almost said shit. Right, but it's not shit. I love this stuff. I could have loved anything else. I could have made more money selling pizza in the pizza capital of New York than I could have in comic books. Right, but I chose comic books.
You could have did porn. Men get
Some
paid.
People
porn.
do both. Some people have combined that into an art.
Wow,
dude, I would have made a great fluffer. You know what I'm saying, man? Who's ready to go? Let's do this.
I'd be a great cameraman. That's a great angle right there, buddy.
I think we're going off the rails there.
I can tell you a story. I used to work in Hollywood, right?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Right. To answer the question myself, I was also part of that situation with Jay. That's a whole other story.
I thought you were going to say fluffing, but okay.
No. I'm talking about the Liberty thing. But I had another situation in 2008. I had been researching for the 2 years prior on making a toy, right? And it was to make an action, well, not an action figure, it's more like an in-action figure, but it's a vinyl toy, right? Because at the time they were really big. It was an art toy collectible. We would go to San Diego. We would see them all the time, and they would do limited edition runs, 1,000 pieces or whatever. And we were like, all right. I started talking to a guy, and we set it up and we did it. Right? I researched this for 2 years. 2 years. I get the book. I get the toys. Right? While we're at New York Comic Con, right? That truck comes in the same day. I think on the Friday. And while we're at New York Comic Con, so I had to leave Daphne at the convention, come to the house, unload a truck. I think it was something like 50 or 60 boxes of these
Nice.
things. And they were huge, right? They weren't heavy. They're probably like 30, 40 pounds each. So not that heavy, but they were huge. And I had to bring them all into the house by myself. All right. Completed that part. The only person that really loved that process was the cat. His cat just loved climbing all over the boxes. But anyway. So what happens? Not even within a week, the economy just tanks. It takes a hard dive. Okay. And my distributor told me, he said, JD, if I had these last year, I would have sold out. And nothing happened with them. And ever since then, I've been carrying around these monkeys, right? And that's Silverman. It's one of my characters from Tall Tales. And it looks awesome. It's designed by Daphne, you know. And we had about 1,200 of them made. It cost me about what a car would cost.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Brand new car. I gotta pay it off for brand new car. Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, thankfully at the time it didn't kill me. Like I wasn't hurting for cash at the time, thank God. But since then, we've taken these when we do conventions, we don't do many of them. We sell them. Since we started doing Kickstarter, we've probably unloaded a couple hundred, maybe more, right? And I mean, you know, yeah, but I got mine made, Jay.
I know. I'm going down that road, bud. I'm going to learn my lesson from you.
So you know, and you know, the only thing I can say is like I love them. And this is just one. I have this is one colorway, right? So it's like black and white with blood red. Then I have the full color one. Then I have the full color one with blood, and I have one that's straight black and white. And I did a glow in the dark. I have a blue glow, green glow. I mean, it was just nuts. But listen, I mean, yeah, you know, you have to just take these and just, like you guys were saying, roll with the punches. You know, I sell them. I still have probably 20 cases of them left.
Hey,
you know, maybe more.
Just for the record, guys, if you ever just want to send some stuff to me and I'll sell them for you, like legitimately. So,
where are you based out of, Chad?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So I mean, yeah. So yeah, you just got to keep rolling with those punches. Yeah, that was my big error. Like I said, it wasn't. Like I said, I did research for 2 years. The guy told me he would have sold out the year before. It's just crazy. But you know, you move on.
Like,
Move on.
like the
What
stock
can you do?
market. You don't
Live
know
and
what-
learn, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Martha. What'd you say?
I said it's like the stock market. You don't know what's hot and what's not.
Exactly.
But hey, it's yours, you know. So and you got that to sell later, so that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Jay, you're up, sir.
All right. This is the toss-up one. This is a softball one. What book do you go back to reread to inspire you when you think you've lost an edge or not? Not books, not creators. What book? Singular. You
Like
just grab.
comic book or like book?
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Comic
okay.
book. What book? Just one. Do you keep going back to over and over again to re-inspire you?
Sean, you're up.
I would say the New 52 Batman, the first 12 issues as a trade, the Court of the Owls.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good.
it's
That
always
was
good
good
to
stuff.
read. And I was in Scott Snyder's class for a while. I still am. And he talks about it all the time and breaks it down and everything. And it just makes sense. And just seeing what he was going through in general as a person and how he was stressed out being a new writer on well, at least the main Batman and everything. And it's just inspiring. So, yeah.
All right.
Cool. DJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have so many comics to read that I don't find myself going back to anything particularly often. So I guess Kingdom Come I'll flip through every once in a while, but I'm not gonna consciously. I'm sure that I do not transfer anything from that into my own work because I don't really want to, rework anything that's already been out there and done very well. I like to, bring some originality. So, but Kingdom Come, at least just to look at that painted visuals, sometimes good to go back to that.
Very cool.
Cool. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so the guy might be a nut. I don't really know him personally, but he's still a titan as a writer, and I go back to the Watchmen. If it's comic book, I'll go back and I'll reread that Watchmen series because that was some great shit. I mean, it was brilliant. It was groundbreaking, and it's still, I think it's still kind of a benchmark in the industry as far as at least especially as far as when you're doing superheroes. I've never seen it's before or since. That is definitely one that I have found myself going back and rereading, is that series. But I also have, you try to bring it down to one, it's like I also have novels that I go back to, books that I go back to. But not just one. There's actually kind of like a handful. I tend to like a lot of epic fantasy, so I don't know how many times I've read Lord of the Rings. I was always kind of a Tolkien geek, but I guess I can use that one.
Okay.
All right, cool. Martha, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mainly if it's any inspiration, I like to look at the pictures and the books and stuff, to try to build my credibility on trying to get more action scenes and stuff like that, like Batman and just any, especially the old stuff. I try to collect a lot of old stuff. When it comes to reading, oddly enough, I sometimes will go back to my old. I used to read Three Investigator, Hardy Boys kind of books. So sometimes I'll read that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Inspiration. So I really enjoy those as well. So I get a lot of ideas from that because I used to love mystery books and stuff like that. And I still, like I said, I thumbed through the comic books and stuff just to get my impact, to learn more impact in what I can do and put out.
All right, cool. Chad, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's an easy one for me. John Layman and Rob Gilroy's Chew. That book is what got me started in comics. I also have my little dude here. It's a weird comic that's X-Men with food. It showed me that comics can be weird. They can be whatever really that you want, and it's okay to think outside the box. Because I was just all used to the superhero stuff, but it wasn't until I was like, what the hell is this? When I found that weird, gritty, but cartoony art style that Rob has. And I fell in love with it immediately. And every time I will go back to that book and pick it up and just read it and sniff it sometimes if I'm feeling, a little anyway. But no, it's an amazing read. And I definitely recommend everybody should read it for inspiration. Because it's just so good Lord, there's people who could just make pasta noodles, and they take pasta noodles and they could just make a guitar out of it, and that's their power. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It was just so weird. All these weird abilities these people have. Some useful, some not. So It's X-Men with food. So
fair enough. Maybe you should try Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers at some point.
What is it?
Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Fabulous.
That's a classic.
All right. I know C was telling me I started watching The Misfits because of him, which was another one that was similar. The Fabulous. Okay, I will look that up too.
Yeah,
well, what about a little bit more devilish, Rare Flavors from Boom by Rom V? It's a trade right now.
What's it called?
Rare Flavors.
Rare Flavors.
Imagine if Anthony Bourdain was a devil and he took you on a food tour and the dishes, the protein in each dish came from a different enemy in his life.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I know Anthony Bourdain did a comic, the Get Euro or Get Giro. It was from Vertigo. Yeah, I have it. It's really good, too. But I'll look into that. Rare Flavors. I love food comics. Like I do. Anyway.
Yeah, but it's funny that you asked this question because a few years ago I had a flood and I lost a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Right? Something I had lost that I didn't think at the time meant anything to me, right? Because I had it since I was a kid, and a lot of stuff that I had from when I was a kid, like a lot of the comic books, I've lost a lot of comics. I've either lost them, sold them, whatever. But I've lost like my entire Thor run, and I had the entire Walter Simonson run that I picked up off of the shelf myself personally. I also had him sign a bunch of them too, and I lost all that stuff. I lost tons of stuff, right? And this was a book that I had also picked up when I was a kid. I was probably like 12, 13 years old, maybe even 11. I don't even know. And it was missed when I realized I needed an idea for a story, right? Because I'm from Isaac Asimov. I'd read an interview with him. He had said they'd asked him, "How do you come up with ideas for a story?" He said, "Well, I'll go to my shelf, I'll pick up a book at random, I'll flip through it, and I'll stop on a page, and I'll hit on a word, and whatever that word is, that's going to be my next novel." Okay,
that sounds like AI, but like,
right. But I work similarly, where I had this book since I was a kid. And I picked up a copy just recently. This is a paperback. Originally, I had the hardcover. And it's this thing. Things That Never Were. Okay? So this is a book. It's like an encyclopedia of stuff that never was. Right? And I have like literally shut my eyes, flipped the pages, and done this. And I'm like, okay, that's my story. And I would just that would be my base concept for a story, right? Then I would just build around that. And what's funny is before I got this one, because at one point I was seeing this same book selling for like $400 or $500. You know, the resellers on Amazon they go crazy. Yeah. But I found it for like $23 on eBay. But I started picking up a couple other books. So I picked up this thing. This is the Mythological Creatures Bible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The Encyclopedia of Mythological Objects, and the Encyclopedia of Demons. Right?
You are very prepared for the apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, maybe the comic apocalypse. I don't know about any other apocalypse. But yeah, I mean, you know, and I find this stuff. If I'm gonna read, if I need some kind of inspiration, right, I go through this. And it puts you in a mindset to go down this rabbit hole of research. And I found that research gives me that motivation to really, like, it fires it up. It's just, oh, okay. And you just keep reading and reading. You know, stuff comes out. And to be honest, and the most important thing is sit down and write. No matter what you do, just write. Because even if it's crap, just keep writing. Because you might be able to salvage a few sentences.
Actually, that's.
You know what I mean?
I'll bring that just to bring that up a little bit. I will write something and I'll write a character that in that story is absolutely terrible. Like this doesn't fit at all, but then I'll recycle them for another story. Right. And that's actually how Set the Hook has a couple of recycled characters because I was like, hey, I don't want to get rid of this character. How can I work them into this story? So it works.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and listen, I was having this conversation with Jay the other day. He was telling me he was throwing away stuff that he was working on. And I was like, don't throw it away. Finish it. Put it to the side. Save it.
Then
wait 2 or 3 months. And then you go in for the edit. And then, you know, that's when you can fix it, edit it, you know, delete, whatever you got to do to fix it, to make it right. You do it. But at least you give yourself that time to let it breathe. Because you may have written something great and you don't even know it because you're just so deep into the woods and so into your own head, you don't even realize it.
I was trying to find my Encyclopedia of Paranormal.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Like
it disappeared.
Like all these paranormal creatures and stuff. Like I keep one of those. I keep that kind of stuff handy. I'm like, when you start pulling out, like, I got a whole bunch of this stuff over here.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get when you have a haunted book.
Yeah. You do. Weird things do happen around here.
Weird things do happen.
Right.
Chad, you got a question real quick?
I mean, I have a lot of. Oh, you mean for the show? Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of questions for other things too. So this is more of a basic question, but I am very curious with people. Do you have a backup plan, or do you just improvise when things don't work out in your favor? And that can either be like a Kickstarter, like something goes wrong with that, writing, anything. So.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
DJ, you're up.
Yeah. Well, I guess I kind of roll with the punches there and don't specifically. I mean, it depends on the problem. They did, for a short while, change the survey tool to the point where the multiple choice wasn't really showing up. And I was trying to figure it out, and it ended up going out without the multiple choices, which it was a campaign where I had a number of books and a number of covers, and I was, instead of charging for each of them individually, I was allowing people to choose the cover that they wanted. So in that respect, when the survey tool was changed and I couldn't do it like I normally do, and this tool survey went out, I improvised and started messaging people. Eventually Kickstarter got back to me and said they can wipe away the survey that I sent, but that'll wipe out all the responses I had gotten in the meantime while I was waiting for them. So I just persevered, got all the answers, and mailed that book out with the cover choices everyone had. So I guess, in that respect, it's an unseen problem. I didn't really have a backup plan, but my prior career was problem solving. So, I kind of do that when I encounter these problems. I come up with whatever solution I can to fix it and make sure that everyone gets more than they bargained for if there's any inconvenience on their part.
All right, cool. Alan, what are your thoughts?
My whole life is an improvisation, I think. I mean, really, it's kind of funny. It's like I get made fun of by people all the time about, like, it's like you've never had to grow up. It's like you went to work for comic books, you went to work for movies, you went to work for toys. It's like it's not like I don't have a plan. It's like I just plan for the next thing that sounds like fun. I mean, and can possibly possibly work out. I mean, if we're talking about just in a general sense, it's like I am kind of winging it. There are some drawbacks to that, to not having a well-planned life, but and of course, stepping over to, like, when a specific thing that unexpected goes wrong, as DJ was just saying. I don't think you can. You can have a plan for that if you think that might go wrong, but if you're not expecting it, pretty much nothing you can do but improvise. It's a really good idea to be to have your plan be good. Good improvisation is a good plan, actually. Being good at improvising is a good plan, in my opinion. That's kind of a weird counter answer, but it really is true. Being good at rolling and landing on your feet, or coming up with a quick creative solution, that will get you through so many things in life. And it's typically done me very well, for the most part.
I mean, it sounds like you grew up. I don't think that's fair to say you haven't been able to grow up. Like, that's a smart answer.
I mean, I don't know about that in here, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the other thing. I've been called an old soul too, but it's like, maybe I just knew this stuff. I mean, I'm the kid that sat down at 5 years old and had never read a comic book in my life and started drawing stick figures in sequential storylines. You know, I had never read a comic book in my life. I was 5. I was doing that just like instinctively. You know, I don't know. I don't know where this comes from in me, but you just make it happen. It kind of comes back to that whole like, don't give up. You know, whatever you do, don't give up. You know, until you can't. You know, until you have to. But you know, and nobody's going to shame you if you have to. You know, if you reach a point where there's like, you know, for some reason you absolutely cannot continue with something, it's like, you know, people are going to understand that, or they should.
Well, don't do it to the point where you destroy your life or anything. Like, you know.
I mean, you know, yeah. You know, I mean, what does your destroyed life look like? You know, it's like,
well, homeless on the street and heroin, I guess. I don't know.
There are people who've been through that and come out the other side and gone straight to the top. I mean,
well, yes, I'm not saying. I'm just saying you shouldn't do that as a plan.
That's not your plan. that's maybe one of those things when you just improvise really good and get out of there. But
right.
But
I'm gonna do heroin and then become famous.
Shouldn't be your first choice.
Right.
Right. All right, cool. Martha, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, when it comes to backup plans, I mean, that kind of happened with me at my old, I think it was like Seekers issue, like a while back. I did a book where I hired an artist to do like some of the back story or part story. And then I'm like, I was waiting for him to get finished. I paid him, and long story short, he never did finish it. So I'm like, you know, I had to back up. I'm going to have to try to be the best that I can and just fill those holes, fill in the gaps. So I ended up finishing what he didn't get done. Lost a little bit out of it and maybe some time. But he just got the best. I had to get it done. I didn't want to like leave it hanging. And I'm like, I owed it to these nice people that supported me. So, but you know, you just gotta find that, you know, you gotta follow up, because if you don't, but that's the good thing is like I'm there, I'm able to do it. I know that a lot of us have that problem where we don't always have that, but if you can find something or some kind of like road down to where you can get it finished, that's very much so.
All right, cool. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, by nature, I overthink everything and I overanalyze everything. I think more than I talk, typically. So I'll plan for every scenario, but at some point you're going to have to improvise. So just have that part of your plan, knowing that there's going to be improvisation. Yeah, and just do your best. And like everyone else has said, just be good at improvising and just keep it moving along.
All right, cool. Jay, what are you thinking?
Wow. All right. I'm all over the place with my answer on this. You know, part of me is I'm living the backup plan, right? The backup plan is the day job that keeps the lights on so I can work on my books, right? Without having to work on my books to keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. You know, I know Dan has hit the you know, the final punch button, right? I got 4 years left until I can do that. And you know, I'm looking at you, kid, and it's like, all right, you're living the life that, all right, I can work on whatever book I want to. I could be picky and choosy. I don't have to rush because I'm depending on the revenue stream to come in to pay all the guys, because all that stuff is already taken care of with the day job. You know what I mean? That's part of the answer, right? The other part of the answer is whenever people ask me about comic books, you know, what's it like? I said, well, it's you jump into the deep end of the pool with the sharks, not knowing how to swim, and people firing into the water, right? Either you get eaten alive or shot, or you find a way to swim, right? By go back to earlier, by hook or by crook. You know, the backup plan is be flexible, right? Like Sean said, right? Be prepared to pivot at any moment. Don't have every step laid out in sequence, right? Because if one thing goes wrong, then your whole plan is out of whack. Just have those goalposts set up.
Mhm.
Have a goalpost set up, right?
That's great. That's how I travel. You have a general idea, like I want to go in this general direction, and I have these kind of like specific things, but you're not so rigid that you can't like go, like, okay, maybe I'm going to go over here, maybe that's not going to work out, and I'm going to do this other thing. It's like when I travel, and it works out the best. But life is like that traveling.
There you go.
It's like you have a general plan, but you might have to take some side roads, and you be willing to do that, and you be prepared to do that and be good at it. In fact, if you can.
And it's the experience of life that helps you navigate that, right? So it's the experience of comic books that help you get to that goalpost without having that exact plan laid out. Because look, we're creators, and creators are critical of themselves already by nature, right? And if you have everything step by step by step by step by step by step, that's OCD, and you're just gonna drag yourself down into the black hole if you're not following the exact step you're supposed to be doing. So be easy on yourself. I mean,
be kind to yourself. That's good advice too.
Don't be so strict, with all of your moves. But be ready to pivot. And the only way you can pivot is by having the experience of the failures and the bumps in the road that come with creating comic books that will help you navigate that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Most of us are creators are the hardest on ourselves too.
Oh yeah, man.
As far as that goes.
Yeah. I don't think people understand how hard we are at times on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we could take a look at something and we could be like, wow, this is terrible. But then we could give it to somebody else and they'll be like, wow, this is really good. And
dude, I experienced that this week.
I have too.
Like,
Last week. Yeah.
I still feel like I'm Mark Twain. I'm not Mark Twain, excuse me. Oliver Twist going up to the have some more. Right?
Some more.
Take a look at my book. I'm like, oh my God, this is professional stuff. I'm like, really? You really think so? You really think so?
Right. I had that because I set my artist the final issue of Set the Hook, issue 4, and he read the script and he was like, man, that ending is awesome. And I'm like, you think so? Like, do you? Because this is the other ending that I had. He's like, no, this one is great. And I'm like,
don't be hard on yourself, Chad. Don't.
Right.
You're too tough.
Believing in yourself is the hardest thing.
Yep.
That's why the comments, social comments about our books, like, that's all you got to say. I wake up being even shittier to myself.
Right.
Nothing.
I always say that at work too, at my day job, where I'm like, listen, if you want to talk shit about me, get me in the room and I'll talk shit about it.
I say things to myself in my head that I would never say to anybody else.
Right. Here, I'll give you the real dirt on me. I'll tell
But we can't be tough on ourselves. I'm sorry. We can't be tough on ourselves.
No, absolutely not.
We shouldn't be. Excuse me. Give yourself a hug. Seriously. Not trying to be
touch
not trying to be facetious. Give yourself a fucking hug, man. We fought some fucking battles, right? To get here. Shit. We got great fucking hair, man.
I know.
We got great fucking hair. We earned that shit. Right, Sean, Chad? Fuck you.
I always, even when I read a bad comic, I like, even if it's in a trade paperback and I pick it up, I'm like, you know what, you fucking did it.
Yeah.
Even if I think it's terrible, you fucking did it. Like, I can't hate you for that, and I love you. I love you for that.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Yeah.
And I don't expect everything to be like, classic Citizen Kane. It's like I'm going in, I'm like, I just want something to maybe occupy my attention for a few minutes. Enjoy, it'd be somewhat enjoyable. It doesn't have to change my life.
Sure.
I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with a brain rot comic. Like, give me the turn off my brain shitty schlock any day. Like,
absolutely.
I'm cool with
just something fun. I don't care.
Daniel Leister's werewolf.
For every Watchman, you need a saber-toothed Wolverine knuckle duster. You gotta balance that stuff out, guys.
I always bring up Werewolf Run as one of mine, where Daniel Leister, like, he makes some great stuff, and then there's Werewolf Run, which is just nothing but schlocky, bloody, gory action goodness. And I'm like, yeah,
There you go.
this is great.
You ever watch the Super Friends now?
Right,
I've been
right.
watching the Super Friends lately. Just gonna watch the old superhero stuff. I thought I liked as a kid, and I'm watching now, and I'm going, I can't believe that they couldn't do better than this even back then. I mean,
Yeah.
How did this get through?
Yeah.
You know, who was smoking what at DC that let them approve this?
Dude, last week I was with a buddy and we were watching an old school Transformers episode, right? Out of nowhere. I know I saw all of them. Alan, I saw all of them. Out of nowhere, Optimus folds up Megatron himself and turns him into a gun. We're like, what the fuck? We saw that. We saw that, but we don't remember it.
I was watching one this morning where Wonder Woman and the Atom get thrown into the past, and they land on this pirate ship, and Blackbeard catches the Atom in a glass jar, and that's it. He's caught in a glass jar. I'm like, it's a glass jar. Just grow.
Right. You're
Just
like,
grow.
but you're looking at this going, this is the dumbest fucking shit ever. Do it again.
my God.
Like you're like getting excited about it. You're like, no, do that shit again. Let me see.
I still want to write like today's Super Friends. Like,
But it all made sense at 8 years old.
yeah, 8 years old. You know,
We can't-
what Adam can do and not do. Okay.
We can't get into that thought process to make this make sense now. But
All right, gentlemen, hold on. We're going far afield from where we're supposed to be at. All right,
Have fun. That's what it's about.
Jay, I got other things to get to. All right. All right. Like we're gonna go into the fog. All right. Like that's where we're at. All right. There we go. Sean, do you want to play this video?
Sure.
All right. So Sean, walk us through this. What do we got?
Yeah, so The Fog Within issues 1 through 4 is the arc finale. That was my first goal getting into comics, is getting to a trade. So next step is trade after this. I'm very pleased with that. And basically the story of this is a catastrophic event in the present. A couple of days later, Hunter's on a run and ends up going through some fog, ends up 26 years in the future. Doesn't know how he got there. There's rebels waiting for him. There's Damon and his regime in place. That catastrophic event caused an infection, and they wall up this town, and now Damon is in charge with his swarm soldiers. These rebels know that he's coming, Hunter, from the past, and he finds out he has this ability. The fog is within him, hence the name, and he's learning about his ability in issue 2, training, and some things happen with some of the rebels. I have a spotlight on a couple of them on there, and then issue 3, there's other rebels that have a spotlight, and he has something happen at the rebel base. Feels like he's failed his new family in this future, and decides to go on his own to try to take on Damon. And that's where we left him in issue 3. So now he's at Damon's base trying to take them on. It's not going so well in these first few pages, but all of the rebels that I put a spotlight on in the previous issues, they're all coming together at some point in this issue, and it's just a big, huge story-driven brawl. 20 out of the 24 pages is just nonstop action, and I hope that the last page is a jaw dropper for everyone that reads it. It's what I've been waiting to show for 2.5 years, that I've had in my back pocket that I haven't been able to say to anyone other than people that have read the scripts, and it's blown people away, and I hope that it does the same thing for the comic readers. So
what you're saying, schlocky actiony goodness. Sign me
Oh,
in.
yeah. story-driven action. But yeah,
Either way,
still
you don't got
action.
to sell it more to me, okay? You already got me.
So
But-
Sean, so this completes the 4-issue arc. Are there more arcs to come, or is this
Yep.
like one and done?
Yeah, so the idea is I want to do 12 issues. So every time I can fund, I can go to the next issue. And we haven't had a problem so far. So once I get this one done, we'll do the trade and then we'll go to issue 5. I've already have everything outlined for all 12 issues. Just when we get to the next one is when I'll start finishing the script and so forth. So yeah, so far so good. Having a lot of fun with it.
All right, cool. Listen, man, you've been out here a few times. I like this stuff, and I'm a trade waiter, so soon.
Yep.
All right, Relas, listen, looks good. You got, what do you got? You got 54 backs, you're 11 days, $1,600. You got a little work to do, but you're 65% there. I think you're gonna make it. It's not even full. You're gonna make it.
Yeah, I did a shorter time too. I only did 19 days versus I normally did 30. So trying to get rid of that dead time in the middle and seeing how that'll go since I have somewhat of an audience and for my other book as well. And yeah, so far so good though.
All right, cool. Looks good, man.
Thank you.
So let's get the next person up. All right. Sorry. All right, here we go. Trying to do it in order. Dan or DJ.
Yeah, DJ throwing me off. I am Dan, but I don't know why I went with that. But anyway, yeah, Global Impact. It's actually my own Impact International clashing with there's another company, Punt Press. Nigel Flood in Ireland had this globalist book. He had 2 issues done. I had 2 issues of Impact International done. So this is acting as issue 3 of both books. So all the covers we have interchangeable logos. You can buy it with the globalist logo. You can buy it with the Impact International logo. You can buy one copy with one logo and one copy with the other. Those are all the covers that we have. And pretty much his team, the Globalists, are in a universe where they have conquered their Earth. So they are an international team. That shows you what country everyone's from and what their powers are. So his Globalist has conquered their planet, and now they're out to conquer other worlds. So they're going to different dimensions. It seemed like a good time. We're both on number 3. That's actually we have a co-promotion with Sentinels. Back both campaigns, and you get a bunch of digital books. But as I was saying, Globalist invade. Here's a couple preview pages of that. They invade the Argo Comics universe. And actually, at first, it's a team up, but things go awry from there. But we have catch-up tiers, as you can see. You can get the previous 2 issues of Impact International, the previous 2 issues of The Globalist, and then you'll have 3 issues of each. We have it on digital, as you can see. And basically, his team has heroes from, I guess, more or less every continent. I picked a whole bunch of countries for mine, so it depends on who you are, but maybe your country is represented there. I think if you're a Paisan, we got the Italian character. Got German, Russian. Again, Nigel's characters are more from different continents, so everything is pretty much covered throughout all these international heroes. And it's, in the grand tradition of JLA versus Avengers or Teen Titans versus X-Men, this is 2 different indie companies with international teams and a big brawl clashing. All
right, cool. Now, Dan, how did you broker this deal? Like, how did you meet this guy? Or did you just start talking to him? I mean, what was the genesis of that?
In one of those failed publishers that I referenced earlier, he was actually in there as well. The first and second one, he was both those failed publishers. He was there. We had spoken at that point, and actually, he brought one of his properties to my Thunder Zone line. So I published Nigel's The Squad, which was an Irish superhero team, having a lot to do with the Irish folklore, like Collada from the Collada ring. She has a Collada ring. So I'd already been dealing with him on that. He had his own titles in Punt Press. So Celtic Clan was his first title. Globalist, I think, became a little more popular. They've appeared in War of the Independents and Cosmos for Advent Comics. And as I said, I had seen that we were both on issue. We both had 2 issues done. We were both on issue 3. And I thought this crossover would, really be a cool thing. And I think some of these covers, that middle cover there was, let's see, well, that's a Superman Shazam tribute, but this one's Alan Goldman, who did Superman and JLA. So I was really happy to get him for this, for that cover.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man. I mean, it looks good. You're what? You got 51 backers. You're already funded. You got 14 more days left, so you're good. So, this is a one and done between the two of you guys. You guys planning to retouch this in the future, or you guys just gonna leave it at this for now?
Yeah, we're both gonna probably leave it at that, and he'll go on to Globalist number 4, and I'll go on to Impact International number 4, which I already have in process. And unless we revisit it at some other point, because it is open ended. I'll give a spoiler: neither team completely dies, so they're still around. So you never know if this meets enough success, and we hear feedback that people want to see another chapter of this, then myself and Nigel will entertain that.
All right, cool. I mean, it looks good. Like I say, you got another 14 days. Everyone, go check it out. All right, Martha, I see you got a video. Do you want me to play this?
That's not really much. That's cool.
Is it under a minute?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll play it because I had somebody on last week. It was 5 minutes, so a minute is
I
easy.
can't even remember.
Join us, May, for Aliens West, where we look at shapeshifters who take over the American nation and are trying to find a way to get back home to their home planet. Come and join us today and help us out in our new Kickstarter with exciting features and exciting rewards. We hope to see you here, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have an alien in the West.
Listen, 37 seconds.
There you go.
Nice.
Point.
Exactly. Quick and to the point. So walk us through it. What do you got?
I try to keep it as quick as possible. It was like a little TikTok thing. But anyway, this is actually issue 4. So if you're new to this series, you haven't got any books, and I have cheap PDFs, so whoever wants, check it out. I encourage you. But this is issue number 4. The first issue, they crash land in the old West. 2 aliens. They're like shapeshifters. The old Daywalkers legends, which will probably be mixed into the future. But that's coming up later. So anyway, they're stranded in this farm with some wife of a farmer, and he ended up getting cancer from their space fuel. So now she knows about their secret, but they unfortunately like brought up some gold with the landowner the brother who owns the land, but I don't want to give too much away, but now they got the thing of gold. So all these like gang leaders are out ready to try to take over the farm. So we're going to find out that it's going to get a little different, and it's going to get a little darker too. So I'm usually lighthearted on a lot of my stories, and I like to keep things kid friendly, but this one's going to be a little dark, so a little more horror-esque toward the end of it. So if you like horror and like a little twist of stuff, you're going to like this one.
All right, cool. Now, is this a graphic novel? Or is this a one shot?
One shot. It's 24 pages.
24 pages. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like issue 4.
This is issue 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you planning? I mean, is there a longer story you're going along with this, or is?
Yes, there's going to be a lot more. We're going to introduce more aliens. It's basically the synopsis of what happens before Roswell even came out, because they're like in New Mexico and before the Men in Black, but there's an inkling of Men in Black coming into the story. So like they're 2 government agents. I don't want to give too much away. It's going to be a little bit creative. It's like, because I always read about Old West or old historical comics, and how, a lot of that doesn't get much out there. So it's like I kind of want to like have fun with it. I know it's like a lot of Japanese comics do that kind of like stuff. I said, why can't Americans? We don't really do too much with that stuff. So that's why I started going into that. So.
All right, cool. So you are at 42 baggages at 13 days.
Mm-hmm.
You're 59% there. I think you're good. I don't see any reason why you can't make it. I mean, you're for certain you're going to make that. That's not going to be anything.
Yeah, check it out, guys. I really love to have you guys like take a look at it, and it's a good story. I'm certified grantee fresh.
Very nice, very nice. All right, cool. Looks good. Go check it out, guys. All righty. I got like this other campaign up here that's just Jesus. Why do I even bother? Okay. All right, Jay, start talking.
Play the video. We'll play the video. Play the video.
I'm clicking. It's not working. All right. You are the video.
All right. So I am the video. This is the Shield of the Interceptor action figures. Heroes versus the Hellbound. Taking another shot at doing this. Right. There was a lot that I needed to learn the first time I ran through this campaign. I dropped the ball on quite a few things. One of those things was not even having the prototypes ready. I have the prototypes ready now. And this coming weekend, I will be at Joe Fest in Augusta, Georgia, showing off the prototypes, getting some. You followed that. Oh, man, that's so sweet. Showing off the prototypes, showing off some 3D printed blanks. Oh, you took it off. You summoned a motherfucking. So whatchamacallit?
Sorry, Jade. I got you.
There you go. You're the man. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
Showing off some of the 3D printed blanks so we can run some articulation tests. Getting first person. Oh my God! First person. Responses. Not responses. First person. Validation, vindication. I don't fucking know. Getting people to talk about it right on screen, right? Recording that stuff. I am looking for a hell of a lot more money than we did on the first time around because prices went up on things.
Yeah. You got some of the toys to show?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna give you the screen. So.
Oh man, you give me the screen to show some of the prototypes. So this is some...
not to show your face. I'll tell you that much.
So look, this book is based on my flagship title, which is called Shield of the Interceptor.
Hold up the toys. Toys. We can't even look at the toys.
Hold up the toys, right? So this is these are some of the demons that they fight. These are some of the variant colors of the figure, right? I don't know if anybody has bought G.I. Joe before, but one of the most popular figures is this guy called Storm Shadow. So this is kind of our take, our homage to that Storm Shadow costume. They're going to be 4 inches tall, right? 1/18 scale. The reason why is because I'm running out of space. I don't know if I'm running out of space. Other toy collectors are running out of space as well. with the current 1/12 scale, which is around 6 inches. Price point is going to be about $25 a pop plus $10 shipping, and we're baking that all into the initial reward. So you'll be paying $35. That will be covering the shipping for the figs, unless things keep going up again, which I hope they don't. And things have been going down. Things have been going down. Things have been going down. Hopefully they'll go down a little bit more. I'm not planning to launch it just yet. Maybe sometime at the end of August, maybe sometime beginning of September. Hopefully we can get these bad boys rocking and rolling. But I would love to get this action figure out there, man. This is it. This is, again, this is some of the stuff that we've been working on. And the demons were kind of the best pop for the figure line, right? And here we got a few more other demons popping up over here. One more there, and I'm excited. Oh, and this is the first time I'm showing this, so it's going to be a nice little hook for anybody who was into toys. One of the stretch goal figures is going to come with a spine whip, and the head is actually going to be removable, so you could pull off any of the other heads on the figure line and throw it on the spine whip. So it could be like it's a spine whip, or it could be part of the dio that you just rip the spine out of somebody. So that's something I haven't seen done in figures before, and like I said, we're running that. We're bringing some of the unpainted blanks, so they can mess around with the articulation and stuff, because the other stuff is painted and will chip away.
So Jay, where is this show being held?
Augusta, Georgia, baby.
All right. Yeah. Do you know the building?
Yeah, the Augusta, Georgia Convention Center.
Okay.
Home of the Masters for anybody who's into golf. About 2 hours away from Atlanta, and I'm hitting the people that really buy these toys, right? G.I. Joes, the 4-inch size, and hopefully that community can bring this bad boy to life, And there will be other people who have done the crowdfunding action figure circuit at this event also.
Very nice. Real quick, I got a couple of things going on. So this is my campaign, Magi's Grace. It's 20 hours left, and we're done with this one. So this is got a chance. Go check it out. What is it? Denizens of Innsmouth being invaded by vampires. You have these two crazy characters coming to help out. Okay, there we go. So that's enough for that one. And then launching tomorrow, I have the Oswald Chronicles. It's a trade paperback. Pull that up real quick, and I'll be launching this tomorrow. And this is My Time with Clive, or Clive's Tale, and this is the end of the series. And this one's actually in full color, so it's one of the few ones that I've done in full color. So this is kind of exciting for me. And like I said, this will go out tomorrow, and this will be a very short campaign, about 24 days. Well, shortish, I guess. All right, Chad, you never answered your question. What was the answer to your question? Sorry, I just wanted to get through all the campaigns.
Oh, I don't even remember what I fucking asked. Oh, so actually, to what Alin said, I have and actually JD said, I have an idea of a plan. I have the concept of a plan, and then once that plan doesn't work out, I throw away that plan and I improvise it.
There you go.
And I've always strongly believed that if something goes wrong, like even if it's like a convention or like even doing a book, that means it's going to be either a really good book or a really good show, or I'm just going to have a ton of fun. And that's usually what ends up happening with me. So I end up having a general idea of what I'm doing. I learn, and then I just go. So I'm glad that everybody kind of is on. I'm like, oh, okay. So everybody thinks generally the same way. So that's my whole process. Plus, you're way again. You're not as stressed out with that. So just chill. Go with the flow, my dude.
Go with it.
Go with the flow.
All right.
So, yeah.
So listen, I got a softball question for everybody, right? So
I don't like softball.
Yeah, I know, but they suit you. So, have any of you ever read any manga? Right, some of
Yeah.
us have, some of us haven't. And tell me of one, maybe two of your favorite mangas that you've read in the past. And if you haven't read any manga, why? Like, what's holding you back? Right. So, Alan, I think you're up.
I was reading some of Attack on Titan because that was like the big thing, and it wasn't what I really wanted it to be. I think, or what I thought it was going to be, but it was cool. There was some neat stuff about it. But what else have I read? I don't know. I probably watched more anime than I've read manga, but.
All right, for sure.
I'm not against it. It's just, I mean, I have. If you could see my to be read pile, it is. I am sure at this point in my life that I will probably never read all the books that I own before I die. So it's like I'm like, do I shove more new stuff in? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm doing it every day, but will I ever get it all read? That's a question. So I'm like, I don't know how much more manga I will be able to grab and read and get into. I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff out there that sounds great, and I know it's real popular. I read just a little bit of it. I didn't get too far into reading. I didn't get deep into reading a lot of it, but I hear good things about it. Some more of the things that are out there. That's all I know.
That's fair. Martha, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna leave it at this because I gotta get running. But thank you. Well, of course, I'm a big manga fan. I've been reading it since before an anime. I've been watching it way before it was popular with the American audience. So I'm going way back buying those VHS tapes where they only show 2 episodes per, and they were like $90 per tape.
Yeah.
So, but I got a lot. I seem to have gotten a little bit of influence from them, but I'm not gonna say like 100%. Anime is like the 100 to go to because I grew up on Batman and Superman and reading those books as well. So, but I think my biggest influence. Well, my biggest influence is there's a book called Oh My Goddess or Oh My Goddess.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is a classic. Right
I read that in 95, and I gotta tell you guys this. I read that 95. I wrote there was a pen pal section in the Dark Horse, when it was Dark Horse. And I said, I'm looking for pen pals. Anybody, And my husband wrote me. And we've been married 5+ years. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
How long have you been married?
25+ years.
Oh,
Way to be. Way to be.
Yeah.
It's
It was
excellent.
from that,
Solid story.
and it was because I drew the picture. I drew a picture of Erd on the one character on a Dark Horse, and I sent it to them and said, I'm looking for the people to write to, and he saw that, and we just connected. So that's my biggest moment in life. So that, if anything, that was my favorite manga, and I learned. So a lot of my art influence was on that too. So.
All right, good.
Very happy for you.
All right,
man. I like that. I love that.
Nobody can answer this question anymore. That was the best answer. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Martha, since you have to go, before you go, please let us know where you can find you and your work.
Yes, please, and I'll connect and put it. It's on my Facebook, so check that out. Schwartz Arts on Twitter and all Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So, and thank you guys so much. I know some of you guys creators, and some of you guys I just met, and I will check out your work because I'm a constant supporter. Because I wanted to say earlier, it's like that's the thing about indie comics and like trying to like getting the connections, but not just that, but it's like I like to read these comics that you guys create and put out there because it's like I'm so bored of the mainstream. Sometimes they just go out there and it's like you can't. It's the same story. You can only do 52, 55 times on the DC. You know what I'm saying? So keep creating, guys, because I want to read those stories, okay? So, and thanks for having me, too.
Thank you,
Martha.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care.
Definitely check everything out, okay? So keep going. Never stop.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. That's why I rushed. on the prior segment because I wanted to get through that segment because I knew she had to leave early. Sean.
You could have told us that in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I could have, but I didn't feel like it.
What a
what a dick!
What a motherfucker.
Now I don't
Yeah.
feel bad. Never mind.
Yeah, kind of, but I'm a fucking
You guys are fucking assholes now because I didn't tell you.
Okay, Sean. Now
Yeah.
that what are your thoughts on the question?
Yeah, so I haven't really read any manga in the past. I was thinking about it as I was waiting, but I don't think I really have. I mean, I've watched some anime, but not very much. I've just always been so obsessed with comics growing up, honestly. And my dad, he was the one that started it all, so he's been buying comics since he was a kid in the 60s. So I didn't know anything different. My friends had it growing up, like they had like Dragon Ball and stuff like that, and I read a little bit of it, but nothing to where I really picked it up myself. But like anime wise, like Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, and stuff like that. But that's probably the closest that I've gotten to the manga and the anime and everything.
Still manga and anime, my dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Antarctic Press touts themselves as American manga.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, Ninja High School from way back and many of their titles, Gold Digger, a lot of their miniseries and stuff like that I was reading. I guess this Ranma One Half became big at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love
I checked
Ranma.
that out. And yeah, that was pretty good. But as Alan was saying, the have to read pile is beyond my living years probably. And to start getting books that I got to read backwards as an old dog with perhaps a new trick that I can't wrap my mind around, and stick with the stacks and stacks of books that go forward. But everyone seems to be going on to their anime. Anime I was into as well, seeing like Project AOK and Aiko, okay, and it's been a while. Bio Booster Guyver, Akira, all those I saw back in the day. More recently, the only one that really caught me was My Hero Academia, which I really enjoy. But yeah, that's pretty much my
You mean you never picked up Cat Shit 1 from Antarctic Press?
I did.
Yeah.
Cat Shit 1. Was that part of like the furlough line and all that stuff?
That was it was like 2 or 3 standalone manga they produced.
Okay.
But yeah, but it was it's what is it? Bunny rabbits basically in the Vietnam War. It's hilarious. The book and the way the author does the book is it's very very straightforward. So it's like a very serious drama, action, military thing, but it's done with bunnies and cats. It's hilarious.
No, I think your Mighty Tiny was a little bit like that with mice, right?
Something like that, yeah. But this was even more so because he gets into like gun designs and tank designs and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't recall that one. Don't recall it.
Yeah. So, Jay, were you trying to say something? I don't know. I can't hear you.
It's silent.
I've been waiting to see.
Yeah, I've been waiting for him too.
Did you mute me? Is that it?
No, I did not mute you.
I didn't mute it.
So then who did?
I don't know. You.
I can't imagine.
There, he's muted again. He's not Jay, he's Silent Bob.
Oh, I'm unmuted now.
There you go.
Are
Yeah,
you?
don't worry.
Are you sure?
I'll fix you. Don't worry about it, buddy.
So anyway, Jay, back to the question. Have you read any manga?
No.
No, end of discussion.
No. When I was a kid, one of my closest friends growing up, his dad was from Thailand. He was a locksmith, and he used to get paid in manga. The Kinoku man,
Kinokuniya.
right? right? The wrestler with the fin on his head.
Oh, Kikaku
Oh.
Man.
Kikaku
Yeah,
Man.
they just released a new anime for that on Netflix. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I
it used
remember
to be
reading that.
It used to be Ultimate Muscle. Ultimate Muscle was on when it was on the WB. Anyway.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. No. I remember it. I remember it coming out Archie Digest size.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand it. It was all in Japanese, and it was just like, okay, people are wrestling, and it was black and white, and it was newsprint.
That's
was
hilarious too.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, it's anime. Yeah. Bizarre Adventures of JoJo, Vampire Hunter D. When the Sci-Fi Channel came out, Saturday nights was the anime night. So I don't know how old some of you guys are, but Saturday night we were up, we were rocking and rolling. We saw some wild stuff. But then I'm also Puerto Rican, and the island of Puerto Rico was huge with anime. I remember seeing Voltron before it debuted here in the States. Astro Boy and Mazinger were regular staples on the TV out there.
You mean it's Mazinger?
It's not Mazinga. Fucking hate that. It's so bland. It's man. It's man.
It's Mazinger.
It's Mazinger.
No.
Mazinga.
What are you talking about?
Mazinga Z.
Mazinger. Mazinger was where the kid rode the motorcycle into a flight pod, and the flight pod became the brain on this robot's head, and he used to shoot his fist out there. And then he had two sidekick robots. One was the female robot that actually shot missiles from her boobs, or the boobs were missiles. Call it either way you want it, right? And his little brother and his two friends used to ride little pedal bikes, and they used to, I guess they were hamsters in the wheel, right? And they were in the big bulky robot, and that was the one that would blow a vortex from these three little toddlers riding bikes inside of this thing's head. It was Mazinger, dude. It was great. It was great. I loved it.
So the men in white are coming.
The what?
The men in white are coming to your door. That was a whole sentence you said.
They are. But I mean, it was, the big robot stuff was all the same thing. It was robot fighting monster of the week.
Didn't they have a giant robo? Wasn't that another one?
That was
Giant
another one.
Robo? Yeah.
Giant Robo, yep.
Yeah, and then it was Battle of the Planets, Gotcha Man, whatever the hell.
Oh, Mazinger.
Yeah.
Mother flower, Mazinger.
Back in my day, we had Gigantor and we liked it.
Astro Boy.
I didn't like the.
I just remember
Boy,
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Star Blazers. You remember Star Blazers?
Star Blazers.
God,
Yeah.
that was great.
What about Silverhawks? Was
I
that
fucking loved Silverhawks. It was a little bit on the racist side, but it was Silverhawks.
wasn't everything back then?
I don't know, but no,
Speed Racer, man. Come on.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
I couldn't do Speed Racer. Didn't do it for me.
Speed Racing.
Speed Racer. I remember how blown away we all were when we found out the big secret,
What was the
And he's Speed Racer? Oh my god.
No.
Racer
I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it.
No, what Racer X was his older brother?
Yeah. It's like when we were kids, man, that was like all we talked about in school for weeks and weeks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like a mind blower,
Wait, Silverhawks got a new comic? Holy shit.
Yeah, don't get it. Don't get it.
Oh,
Don't get
okay.
it. It's
That's
bad.
that bums me out now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's remember how Alan was talking earlier about the writing on the Super Friends cartoons from the
Yeah.
that's what the writing on this book is like right now.
Oh,
That's terrible.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me, guys?
That's pretty bad.
It hurt, and I was looking forward to that over the Thundercat stuff, and it just wah wah wah.
all right, I'll go Gargoyles now.
Well, Space
Gargoyles is good.
Space Ghost is good too.
Well, it's David Peppo, so I don't. I've read Space Ghost. It's pretty good.
You got a Hercules.
But Gargoyles was written by Greg Weisman, who wrote the series. He was the showrunner, so that's awesome.
It's a Hercules book out. I love the freaking Hercules, but I haven't read the book yet.
Oh, I didn't read Hercules.
Picking that up.
I love the Hercules.
Hercules is good. Oh, that's good. I might check out the trade. All right, for myself, it's funny. I'll talk about some of the.
I didn't get to go.
What didn't you get to go?
I didn't get to tell my manga and everything, but fine.
I thought you did. Oh, good.
No, I didn't. No. Oh, it was Bleach. That's what I got started on before it sucked.
Oh, that's why we didn't. That's why we didn't go to you.
That's
Come on,
why,
bro.
listen, it started out really good and then it started to suck. It ended terribly. But that was my first into actual manga and everything. With anime, I was Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho. Anything on Toonami was like, that was my freaking jam. But yeah, so I'll keep mine brief. And then, but right now, One Piece is probably my biggest one with Sea Landing and always messaging me. Did you read the latest chapter of One Piece? Yes, because we're caught up like actual good people.
What's up, man?
So yeah. Anyway,
All right, that's cool. I mean, but there's like what 1,000 episodes.
of One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been reading it since like I've been
beginning?
alive. So I mean, which was like yesterday. So you know,
A live action movie, right? On Netflix.
that's the TV series. It's actually, if you don't feel like watching all of the anime or actually reading the manga, just watch that and you'll be fine. You get the gist of it. You got it.
We know they're not supposed to make sense when you're 40, Daphne. We know that. But when a Silverhawks
what?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not 40 yet. It's not going to make sense to me.
Well, I think the point is not so much that it doesn't make sense. It's just the fact that there probably was a 40-year-old who wrote it and couldn't make it sense for a 12-year-old.
I mean, yeah, it's like I think if I were watching these as a kid now, I would be like going, "What? What are they thinking?"
Sure.
Okay, right.
You know, even as a kid, kids are more sophisticated now than they were, but you know.
Okay, so
I like to think anyway.
Can I use this as a lead into my question?
Well, can I finish? Can I answer the question first? Can I
I
answer
thought you did already.
No, I didn't.
You did?
No, I didn't.
It's not important.
Yeah, well, hold on. I'll let me finish answering. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. So the stuff I started reading was the stuff Eclipse Comics brought over. It was stuff like Dagger Kamui, Amaya the Psychic Girl. Then later on it translated over to like Tank Police, and then Ghost in the Shell, Domu, Akira, that sort of thing. So yeah, so it was a lot of that stuff. And eventually I ended up reading Lone Wolf and Cobra, a great series. And currently I'm reading something called Freerin, which is
that's it's depressing.
Yeah, it's sad, but but I like it. It's good.
Yeah, you and every other human being is reading that. You're not cool.
Well, what do you want from me? I saw the damn TV show and I decided to read it.
He said you're not cool.
That's fine.
Repeat that, Chad. I want to hear that part again, please.
JD is not cool.
Yeah.
Well, JD is accustomed to hearing that all the time. Right, JD?
Shit, I get cool. I get called daddy. I get called a bunch of things, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, what you pay your wife for is a whole bunch is something totally different, bro. But ask your question.
All right, so let's go back into what Daphne brought up, right? The stories were for 12-year-olds, and when we're 40, we're not supposed to get it. Understood. But if you watch something that came out around the same time, the original Johnny Quest animated series, all right, that was not written down. It was written like a mystery. Yes, it had a kid going for it, but you had death. They didn't write to kids. So
that's
that. Right.
It did not write down.
They didn't write down.
I mean,
Jay, what's your question?
If you compare Super Friends to like Dwayne McDuffie's Justice League, it's like it's the same thing, but look at the writing between the two. Completely different world, but it's the same thing, aimed at the same audience. Totally
so
different.
all right, so I love that, because the question is, if you had the chance to write whatever you wanted to write, no restrictions, whether it was your books, whether it was something else, but it was supposed to be made for kids, would you write down, or would you write down to soften the blow? Would you write down to make it palatable, or would you write the story and be conscious of not crossing the line for a kid?
I think Sean was up. So
sure. So the thing I can think of, well, for one, I couldn't write down I want to write anything that I would want to read myself. That's what everybody always says. You want to write something you want to pick up off the shelf. So I can never write down. But the story that I think of is like growing up. I mean, I'm a 90s kid. So Power Rangers, like Chad was saying, was the big thing. And some of those episodes in general on the show would be, kind of corny now. But they've written Power Rangers, the past couple of years where I actually want to read that. And I don't read Power Rangers normally, but what was it? It was called Draken, I think, where the Green Ranger is like the all powerful through different universes and all that. That was a crazy storyline, and I actually enjoyed that storyline. So it can be done. And I don't know if like small kids would be reading that, of course, but you get older kids could be reading that, and that's not talking down to them whatsoever. And that's just a great storyline just in general. So that's where I come from with that. So
now, Sean, is that in the comics or is that part of the TV show? I don't.
Yes, that's the comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and normally that kind of stuff I wouldn't normally read, but everyone was talking about it at the time because it was a big deal that they're trying to do something cool with Power Rangers. So I read the whole thing, and it's been a while, so I can't remember everything that happened in it, but I just remember it's actually really cool to read all these issues. I wasn't bored and dropping it like the first issue kind of thing. So
that was Kyle Higgins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I did do one all ages comic geared towards kids, Pickle Man, and I did avoid excessive violence or anything like that, and up the humor a little bit, although I usually throw in a good amount of humor. And it's my top convention seller. It is my least seller online. So actually had it, I put my niece in it, had it at a family barbecue. Everyone of all ages loved it. So I think, again, I wasn't writing down, but, I had, I guess, age in mind for the content. But again, the jokes that I hit were stuff the adults liked. It wasn't like I made a moronic joke that an adult would think is, idiotic or something. So I guess in that respect, I wouldn't particularly write down, but I can write with, I guess, particular audience in mind.
All right. Cool. Alin, what are your thoughts?
I don't even write down to adults. Like, no, it's like I don't write down. It's like part of my feeling about being a writer is to you write what's there. Like I was reading, adult novels when I was like 8 years old, and it's like if I didn't understand anything, then it was up to me to go and understand what that was. Now that's not to say that there aren't sensitive things that you don't throw out in front of kids, but I don't really write that kind of stuff anyway. But as far as like, I mean, look at the Last Airbender cartoons, for example. Yeah. That was not written down. That was really good. They handled some stuff. There've been a few cartoons that I've seen, and it's like they're not dodging any issues. They're going straight on at stuff, and it's like you gotta love it. It's like it's really good. It's well done, and it's not written down. It's it's just handled sensitively, and I think there's a difference between writing down and just being sensitive, and that's where I would probably fit in, no matter what I was writing. But I would definitely not write down.
All right, cool. Chad, what are your thoughts?
I don't think you should ever write down to any even if a kid doesn't want to be talked down to or like written down to, and neither do adults. Like, and even when an adult is watching something that is for a kid, if it's talking down to you, then you feel also Well, pretty terrible. And I only bring this up because have you ever watched Bluey? Like literally. Okay, so my nephew, it loves Bluey. And I sat down. There was one day I was babysitting because, yes, my brother will let me watch my nephew. God help him. But we were watching Bluey, and there are issues where they will tackle it in a childlike setting. There was one episode about infertility. There's episodes about death. There's episodes about giving birth. Like there's all these types of episodes where the child can watch it with understanding, but also without being confused as well. And then also me, where I'm like, oh, damn, I understand exactly what this is talking about. And it is that mature thing that I think writers and just creators need to be able to balance when they're writing a show, not just for kids, but an adult will want to watch it too. Doug is one of those series that I also bring up too, where it tackles like anxious social situations. Like it tackles, is it okay to be popular or just different? Like it tackles all these situations that you're going to have in high school and middle school. And looking back at that, I'm like, holy shit, that show was way over my head until like I got older. But it wasn't stupid to me either. Like, even though I didn't understand what was happening, now that I go back to it, I'm like, oh, no, that's why I enjoyed it, is because it wasn't stupid. I just didn't understand what was like, this is going to be what's going to happen in life. So no, I think, but to Alan's point too, I think there is that balance of sensitivity and also talking down to. I think you should approach it in a mature light for adults and children. So I feel like I rambled on a little bit there, but yeah. So,
I mean, you have a great point there about like things that you'd understand on one and enjoy on one level when you're a kid, and then when you're an adult, you watch it and you're like, oh, I never got that before, but now it means something to me. Bugs Bunny. I mean, some of the humor that was in Bugs Bunny. I mean, just those great old Warner Brothers cartoons. It's like you watch them again as an adult, and you're like, oh man, I never really got that before. That's really funny.
Yeah, Ren and
Stimpy.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like Bugs Bunny. Listen, and I know this sounds terrible, but Bugs Bunny is like why a man can wear women's clothes. Yeah, fucking Bugs Bunny did it.
Yep.
Like there you go.
Absolutely.
Bugs Bunny was definitely a cross-dresser.
We never shut it down. We still watched it.
Yep.
Fucking look forward to it. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Courage the Cowardly Dog tackled anxiety all the time, and we still fucking watched it. And now looking back at it, we're like, oh yeah, no, that's a terrible situation to be in. Good on you, Courage, for sticking to your gun. You know, just like being brave in those situations. You're like, hell yeah. So, but I think, truthfully, I think a lot of kid shows nowadays have gotten smarter with their writing. Steven Universe, my brother is having his kids watch.
Big.
It is like Amphibia is really good. Star versus
fantastic.
Yeah, like a lot of these shows. Yeah, they're just getting so smarter with not talking down with their kids. Some of the Teen Titans Go episodes can be like that too. Yes, it is loud, but it's like, you know, I think they're getting a lot smarter.
That 1980s episode of Teen Titans Go and that follow-up was freaking awesome. I'm sorry.
Right. Just give me a second, Jay. Alan has to go. So if you want, Alan, let us know where we can find you and your work, sir.
I am on Facebook. There's Pop Skull Press page. There's my page. I have a website for Pop Skull Press, but it's really outdated. I need to update that a lot. I'm on Instagram. I'm sort of sketchy with social media. Sometimes I just can't do all the social media I probably should, but I'm around. I'm there. I do have stuff. So you can check stuff out in any of those places.
All right, cool. Alan, bro, it was a pleasure having you again.
Likewise. Good
Always,
to see you,
man. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, you're not Alan Moore, but you are an Alan, so that's all that counts.
There you go.
And, SPI's Among Us, great book.
Thank you. You too.
All
Talk
right,
to you guys later.
All right.
Take care, bud.
I actually have to go too, so I apologize.
See you, Chad.
All right, see ya.
Take care,
Bye.
Chad.
All right, bye guys.
Are you actually going?
Yes, I do. I
Oh, okay.
do.
Well, let us know where we can find you and your work, sir.
Okay, yeah. So you can actually follow me at Rolling Squid. You can find my work where you can buy all my stuff, RollingSquidBones.com, and a couple of other creators as well that I've picked up and signed on. You can also follow me at Casual Nerd Chad on Blue Sky and Twitter that I don't use. You can also follow me on the Comic Book Brews on Substack. So yeah. Also join us on Wednesday the 18th, where we'll be announcing a new book that we just signed, and I am very excited because that creator has thought that we know what we're doing, and that is not fucking true. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully they don't see this episode so they know that now, though.
Oh no, I already flat out told them. I put that in the contract. I don't know what I'm doing. So
that's fair, as long as they know.
They know. So,
as long as they know.
Bye, guys.
Right, thank you, man. Take care.
See you later, Chad.
All right. So now we're down to 4.
There were 4.
And then there were 4. So your question was right. So yes, don't write down. And the few times that I wrote professionally, it's a matter of research. You research whatever it is that you're asked to do, right? And for myself, it wasn't a thing of writing down. It was trying to elevate it, right? And to play with the toys, twist them, turn them, bend them, don't break them, and make sure you return them back to their creators the way they gave them to you, right? And again, it's not a thing about writing down. It's a thing about just trying to elevate. At least that's the way I always try to treat it. So, Jay, what are your thoughts? Before I meet you again, go ahead.
Just write something interesting. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta pander to the kid. Yes, the Super Friends, and could he have just grown to break through a glass jar? Yeah. But Dan mentioned it earlier with the Last Airbender, right? But it wasn't just that. Remember the Star Trek cartoons that were coming out from Filmation? They weren't talking down to kids, right? The Flash Gordon cartoon that came out from Filmation before He-Man came out. That first season was, I don't want to say high stakes, but that was really good, man. It was storytelling. There was cliffhangers. It was serialized. So somewhere along the way, the focus became on selling the toy, right? And selling the toy meant really cheap, easy storytelling that you could put up on syndication on a regular basis. And so many things that follow that went that route, whether they were selling a toy or not, rather than just telling a damn good story.
Well, it's harder than the many things. So,
I mean, like, there's a formula to almost everything. Like, we don't know it, right?
No.
What do you mean no, bro? The Incredible Hulk.
You have your 3-act structure, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to say there's a formula to what we do, you live that however you want to live that. But I know the results you're always going to get from that.
Okay, dude. Knight Rider, the Incredible Hulk, the A-Team, the action sequences were always at 15 minutes and 45 minutes, dude.
Right. And that's the 3-act structure.
No, it's not 3-act structure.
Dude, it's all broken down within a structure. I used to watch a show called Monsters, right? You had your opening act in the first act, then your second act, and then your final act.
What was Monsters about?
It was a random show. Every week it was about a different monster, a different situation.
Okay.
Yeah. So think of Tales from the Dark Side.
Okay.
Similar to that, right? But it falls along those same lines. You understand? I mean, when you develop those kind of formulas, you tend to develop stuff that's very predictable.
Yes.
It tends to be predictable. It tends to be, blasé. You're gonna have a lot of the writers just falling asleep at the wheel because they're just like, whatever, man. They're not really excited because there's not much to do there.
Because they have to fit that formula that the producers are telling them to do.
Formulaic,
right?
Not a compliment.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, try not to fall into that. I would suggest not fall into that. And here's the thing about that thing about who was it? Was it the Atom that didn't want to burst out of the glass jar?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if he would have burst out that glass jar and the top of his head got stuck in the screw thing and he would have mashed his brain in there? Could you imagine it? And you just see his head explode. That would have been interesting.
Pretty extreme.
Yeah. What? Could have happened.
The more you know.
Exactly.
The parallel to that is Justice League Unlimited, Heart of Darkness. And I forgot which writer wrote this episode. Somebody with a name. It wasn't Grant Morrison. Wrote this episode, and it was like a techno-organic heart or whatever. And you had the atom shrink down so you could get through the cavity of this techno-organic heart and try to squeeze the artery to give this thing a heart attack. And when he wasn't strong enough, grew so that the pressure applied to it was in line with the height that he grew to. So I think it's funny that you brought up the whole getting his head stuck in the, in the jar's lid. It's just, bleh.
All right, Sean, Dan, we'll do something weird here. Either one of you got a question for us?
Oh man.
Wasn't prepared for a question.
Wasn't prepared.
You sound like Jay now. Jesus.
You gotta start bringing it up, buddy. You gotta start bringing it up to them.
Yeah, I think like early on when I was on this, I had a question of my own, and then it seems like the last few, I never had
Yeah. Sometimes I'll bring that up. So look, here's something. Did anybody see the ballerina?
No.
Not yet. No.
I saw it yesterday. I think if you like John Wick, you'll probably enjoy this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never saw John Wick.
Yeah. You never saw John Wick?
No. That's Keanu Reeves?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't see the second Bill and Ted either. So
all right. Well, that's fine. I've never watched any of those either. So but if you like John Wick, I think like he does make an appearance in the movie, and it's a little bit longer than just a cameo.
Okay.
And he does some stuff in it. So yeah.
This is between certain movies, right? With John Wick part of it, or
the third film. It falls within the structure of the third film.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. John Wick 4 kind of lost me when you found out that the guy with the dog was supposed to be the Halle Berry role, and because the ballerina movie came out, she was like, "What the fuck? That was supposed to be my spinoff." So she decided not to come back for part 4.
Oh, is that what happened?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But this is also why knowing too much is a detriment.
Yeah.
To actually enjoying some things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you hadn't known that, you might have enjoyed it.
No. See, I found that out afterwards because the guy with the dog, I was like, you know what I mean? You're throwing, from a writer's standpoint, you're throwing too many new elements into the final chapter of the series. Right? The final chapter of the series should be a lot more.
There's a 5th movie coming out.
They didn't know that at the time, dude.
It was always supposed to be a 5-episode thing.
Yeah, just like there was always supposed to be a prequel and a threequel to Star Wars. Yes, yeah, sure. Okay.
For the longest time, I've always heard 5 films.
I've never heard 5 films.
Always heard 5 films.
They barely were able to get one off the ground. They needed Eva Longoria to help.
Okay.
Become a producer. They ran out of money, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Still got done.
It still got done.
Listen, think of it like us. Got a failed Kickstarter. What do? You're still planning 4 issues out. Right?
Fair enough.
Like,
yes.
You know, who doesn't do that?
Hello. I'm redoing the Kickstarter of the field. So yes. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's only natural. We're all creators, right? We're all thinking all this head garbage going on in our heads. But what if this happens? And then this happens. And then I could do this, and then I could do this, and I could do that, right? And then at the end, I'm ruling the planet. Right?
That's why I started comic books. I wanted to rule the planet. You know what I mean? Come on. If you didn't have delusions of grandeur going into this, you came into it for the wrong reason.
Right.
So I have a question.
Okay, good.
So my question, I was trying to think of one as we were going. So I'm still a newer writer, 2.5 years or so, and I definitely see shows and movies in a totally different way, and I'm breaking it down as I'm watching it now, and that I feel like has enhanced a lot of things and also ruined some things as well. Does every writer feel the same way? Do you like that you have that writer's mindset while watching these shows, or do you feel like it makes it harder to watch certain things because you're a writer yourself?
That's fair.
I like
Jay,
that.
you want to go?
Dan looks like he was ready.
Dan, you want to go?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, we're watching shows, myself and the girlfriend, and a lot of times I tell her what's gonna happen, and it does. Say, how do you know what's gonna happen? Because you can see this stuff that they're setting up, and you can see what they're gonna eventually go into for a payoff. But I tend to still enjoy, and there are shows and movies that they do a lot of plot twists to kind of combat that. So those are some of the things you probably enjoy more than what we were just talking about, formulaic type shows.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it definitely ruined me, right? Pandora's box is open. There's no doubt about that. So when something plays out and surprises me, right, I'm like, oh, wow, very cool. When I cannot grasp a movie, it's got me even more, right? It's like it hits that experience. It challenges me. I'm somebody who loves a second and third viewing, and I go to IMDb with the trivia and to try to fill in the gaps, right? But when a movie doesn't live up to my, I don't say expectations, but what I think would come next, I'm like, oh, the story would have been served better if they had done XYZ and XYZ and XYZ. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. Let me grab that and put it into my bag of tricks for later. So opening Pandora's box has helped more than it's hurt, but even like something like the movie Sinners, I don't know if you guys have seen Sinners yet. No. Yeah, but there's, I'm somebody who always believes in Chekhov's gun, right? You don't show something, you don't say something unless it's going to be used somewhere down the narrative, right? And when you have something that doesn't serve the story, that just pops up, not allowing like a cameo or something like that, or fan gratification, that's a different thing, right? If it doesn't serve the story, it's like, then why have it? And when I see it applied in a movie, when I see it happen in a movie, the gears start to turn, right? And I'm like, oh, when the gears are turning, it'll make me reevaluate my scripts. Like I was telling Calderon earlier this week, he brought it up. I new information hit me, and I totally destroyed stuff I was working on. And I was like, oh no, we're gonna go this path now, right? And it's a little frustrating, but when I get those pieces of the puzzle together and I apply those new elements that I've learned, I'm that much more psyched for the work.
All right, cool. One of the things I try to do is I always think it's unfair to judge any work without seeing it in its entirety, right? So if I'm watching a brand new movie, I try to go into it as trying not to judge it right from the outset and just trying to go into it as a blank slate as possible, right? So I try to watch it and I try to blank slate it. It's hard, especially if I have stuff that I'm seeing that's automatically throwing me out of the story, right? So it's difficult. But I do try to go into it with that mentality, right? So I can just watch it, because I've seen movies where, how many movies have you seen where the first half is really good and the second half sucks, right? Or even the first portion of the movie is not that great, and then the ending is actually pretty good, right? So, and then you got to try to judge it as in its totality, not as just as that segment. I know some people that just like to be harsh and just be like, oh, it sucked and blah 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 and whatever, and that's fair. I mean, that's their choice. But I mean, I really do like to prefer to just pick my points in a film. It's a reason why I can watch something like 47 Ronin and enjoy it, right? And I'm talking about the Keanu Reeves version of 47 Ronin, because there are moments in there that I enjoy, right? There are moments in oh damn, what was this thing? The Seventh Son. Oh man, that movie. That's a pretty bad movie.
That's the one with Nicolas Cage?
No. That has I forgot his name, but yeah, but it's a fun movie in its own way, and it has its moments. But man, you got to be real picky with that one. So, but and there are various other forms of that. I mean, all over the place. So I try to go into the work and I try to pinpoint the things that I enjoy. And there's some movies in their totality they're great, right? So and there are plenty of those, and it just depends how you see it and how you want to see it. So Sean, answer your own question.
Yeah, I mean, I like analyzing. Like I said earlier, I'm an overthinker, and I think more than I talk. So same thing with movies and stuff. If it's not a good movie, I try to figure out, okay, naturally I know it's not a good movie, but why? What went wrong? Where? And how can I avoid that when I'm writing? And same thing with a great movie. Oh, like a holy crap moment. How did it get to that point? How long did they wait to stretch that out? And, things of that nature. How can I add that to my stories and take notes? Maybe write it on a notepad or maybe just mental note. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy that thoroughly. I mean, it's a whole nother level to shows and stuff, because I'm always enjoying some kind of media, whether it's reading, watching a show, a movie. I'm always at the theater. And now I just have a whole nother level to the whole thing. So
I think Daphne makes a good point. It's all about execution. I would rather watch a predictable but good story than a story ineptly trying to buck expectations, right? And we've seen those as well, right? So, gentlemen, we made it to hour 2. Good job for those of us that survived. So let's start with Sean. Sean, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Yeah. So I am on all social media, pretty much Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, somewhat TikTok, and Facebook. Pretty much all called Sean Wood _writer. Facebook, I still know what I'm called as I came back to Facebook. Just search my name, you'll find me there. But of course, right now, The Fog Within 1 through 4 is live until June 27th, I think, which is a Friday. And we are rolling, and just check me out there or find me on social media. And I want to talk about anything anybody wants to talk about indie wise. I'd love to hang out and talk to anybody.
Way to be.
All right. Cool. Dan, where can they find your work, sir?
Yeah, I'm on all social media pretty much as Argo Comics. I do have a Facebook account for Dan Sehn. I don't have any accounts for DJ Sehn, but I am here tonight representing him. Yeah, so, and then, of course, I have the Thunder Zone imprint as well. I have a separate Facebook group for Argo Comics Thunder Zone. So you can look that up, and, we interact over there with what's coming up. And YouTube is Argo Comics as well. And that's pretty much just the indie books that I've been picking up. I do a lot of haul videos, just showing what I've been getting and sharing that with people, so that, beyond publishing, show support to the indie comics community.
All right, cool. Mr. Rosario.
UnstoppableComics.com. You can find all my social media links on that website. This Friday, I will be at Joe Fest at Augusta, Georgia, showing off the figures. Then New York Comic Con in October. Hopefully Legion's Con in November. And we're going to have 2 more Kickstarters besides the action figure campaign coming out before October. So Shield of the Interceptor #6 is coming out. And The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks #2 is going to be coming out on Kickstarter again before November. I'm also doing a show on Friday nights, guys. So Comic Book Streamland right here on YouTube. Doors open. If you guys want to jump on, you guys are always welcome. Just, say, hey, you got a spot? We'll come on through. We'll hang out. We'll bullshit. We'll make fun of this guy that's over here. We love making fun of him. But this Friday, there's not going to be a show because I'll be in Augusta. But next Friday, we're back. What's the Friday after that? 23rd, I think.
I don't know. If you check on your computer, there's a calendar.
I don't pay attention to that. Baby, it's only here. It's only
obviously
here.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not because I got so much other stuff in here. I could do the math. 9 + 7, it's 26, 27. There you go. 26. So Friday 26th. There we go.
Okay.
See, you got it. You know what? Thanks for helping me out, though, buddy. You could have given me the answer. You didn't make me, jump on the hot seat. Like, you could have said, okay, I got a calendar right here, Jay. Let me give this to you. You didn't do that.
No.
You didn't do that.
No.
Like,
I gave you plenty of time to pitch your toys, though, didn't I?
You did.
I did. Exactly.
I appreciate it.
All right. So I do it when it counts.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to pose them. I got to show some of them off. I feel good. I got to turn the heads.
There you go. All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those different places. JD Calderon. You'll find me this Tuesday back on YouTube with Mr. Sean Wood, with Rob Multari, with Mark Torres, with Braden Villoria. This Tuesday night of Mice and Wolves. Go check us out. We'll be here. And we also have Magi's Grace. Last, I think, 19 hours. So go pick up a book, a PDF or something. And the Oswald Chronicles will be launching mañana. That means tomorrow for all of you. So go check it out. And thank you all for being here. And just remember, everyone, please go check out the show notes. In those show notes is everybody's links that was on this show. Click on those links. Pick up some of those books. All of these creators are doing great work. All of them are working hard. All of them are trying to excel at their craft. All right. So please support these creators. And just remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
To pull up the end card, right?